All right.
Hey everyone, Tracy Stuckrath with Thrive Meetings and Events and Eating at a Meeting. Welcome to the show today. I am Laurie Moore is trying to get on here with me right now, having a little bit of difficulty with technology, as we all do all the time. I was actually without technology without Wi-Fi for 3 weeks, so that's been kind of annoying. But so let me tell you a little bit about Laurie while she's trying to get on, and we're trying to do it through her phone now. So if not, Laurie, maybe I'll put you on the speaker, put you up to this. Oh, there, I think she's coming on. There we go. All right, hanging up on the phone. Here we go. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. It's another steamy day with this weird hurricane weather out there, but
Is it hitting you?
Well, no, we're just sort of on the back end of it.
Okay.
So it's just very, very humid and just kind of foggy and just feels like something is impending, but we know it's not. We're just going to be on the back end of it. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just about to tell everybody who you were and what you do. So do you want to do that?
Sure. So my name is Laurie Moore. My husband Will and I operate Moore Farms and Friends. We're a marketing group that we sell our farm products, as well as about 30 other farm producers products to the Metro Atlanta area. We deliver farm boxes every week directly to families. And we also work with a group of chefs in Atlanta, about a dozen or so chefs. And every Saturday we can be found at the Freedom Farmers Market at the Carter Center in Atlanta. So we're in Atlanta a lot, but our own farm is just over the line in Alabama, about an hour and a half from Atlanta. So we have our own farm products, and then we work with this large group of farmers, representing them and aggregating all of our produce into boxes every week.
Okay. So, and I just put your website up on the screen so everybody could find it.
Okay.
And I have known Laurie, oh my gosh, I don't even know how long now. And used to work with you at the farmers market. But the one thing I love about you and Will, besides your personalities and just you being you, is that you're getting food from Alabama and Georgia and Florida and South Carolina. Can you tell people about your vendors that you get food from, fruit and vegetable from?
Sure. So when we first started farming, we use organic methods, but we're not certified organic. When we first started growing on my husband's family farm, almost 20 years ago now, right away that was way back when local organic food was just pretty much non-existent, even in the city of Atlanta. There was just a very small farmers market and a handful of organic farms. So right away when we first started reaching out first to chefs and then started some small farmers markets in the area, we realized there was a big demand. Of course, a metro area like Atlanta, there's so many people from other parts of the country and the world, and they're used to having a direct access to local farmers and local food. So there was right away a large demand, and we started just working cooperatively with the other small farmers that we met as we kind of grew over the years early on, and just started carrying all their products up to Atlanta since we were going anyway. So it saved a lot of us transportation costs. A lot of our small farmers are not great marketers themselves. So since we were already calling on chefs and walking into restaurant kitchens every week, it made sense for us to buddy up and help create more sales opportunities for other small farmers as they were getting started. So that's been almost from the beginning. We've been working cooperatively with a larger and larger group of small farmers as we go along. We've lost some over the years, but again, we represent a group of farmers who grow all kinds of produce. Dairy producers, meat producers, a wide range of local products. So pretty much everything is either certified organic or organically produced. And most of the folks we work with, we know. If we don't know them directly, if we're working with them even through another person, they do have to be certified organic if we don't know them personally. But the big thing that gives us the advantage, especially for our customers in a metro area like Atlanta, because we have such a large group that range from northern and central Florida all the way up to Tennessee, South Carolina. I think we even have one person in North Carolina. It gives us a wide range of growing time periods during the year. So we'll get the earliest crops from Florida starting up in March. Sometimes we'll have February. Usually by Valentine's Day we have strawberries from Florida, and then right on up through the USDA growing zones up to Tennessee and those northern states. So we really are able to expand our offerings. Instead of having a month or 6 weeks of tomatoes, we might have 3 months of good field grown tomatoes working with everybody. And so that's an advantage for us, for our group, because it makes us a stronger marketing organization, but it makes us a more reliable food source for our customers and members also. They know that they're going to be able to get a larger variety and quantity of produce year round. We don't usually take a break, and unless some years if the holidays the first of the year kind of land on our delivery days, usually we deliver year round almost every week. Every once in a while we'll take a little break just because we're wore out. We need one, but overall we are on the road and getting good food to our members.
So, and let's explain to people about membership. So a lot of people don't know what a CSA program, which is community supported agriculture, right?
Yep. So CSAs originally came to the United States from Japan, was the country that there is generally recognized they came from. Yeah, in the 70s, where there were farms that would sell directly to, we call them our eaters, people who eat our food, consume our food. We don't like the word consumers, we say eaters. And so back in the 70s, the original concept came over from Japan, really on the West Coast and the Northeast in the 70s and 80s. It was really popular and gaining in popularity. Here in the South, where took us a little bit longer to catch on. And so CSA programs traditionally are based on one farmer's output, and a group of people, anywhere from 10 people to 100 people, will buy in on one farmer's share crop for the season. And again, because we're here in the South, we have a longer growing period of time. That doesn't limit us to a 10 or 15 week harvest. We're pretty much harvesting nearly year round, most of our farms here. So even if you're just only working with one farmer, you're still going to get a pretty good return on your money. So a traditional program, people might pay a set fee like $500, and then every week they'll get a box of food depending on what that farm is producing. Okay. So programs like ours are called modified CSAs, referred to as modified CSAs, because we've just expanded on that concept. Because we have a group of farmers all working together, it does really help ensure more of a security for our local food system. For instance, if one farmer is hit by a flood locally, or if one farmer is hit by some a bad insect problem or something like that, we're still going to have tomatoes from 5 or 6 other farms. So it's not like, too bad, so sad, no tomatoes this year if you're only buying in from one farmer's production. And, you know, farming is a real gamble. All of us who do it are brave souls, because you just never know. No 2 years really, or truthfully, no 2 years are the same. We're always confronted with weather issues, or insect pressure, or, you know, there's just always something thrown into the mix, and we just have to hit those curveballs as well as we can. But the group of farmers working together really helps to ensure the strength of our program and our customers. So, but we do, again, we call our members eaters, or on our online market on our website, we call it an online market. It is a membership-based program. So that makes us like a private club. You have to be a member. We're not a retail. We don't say that we're retailers. We have you have to purchase an annual membership. It's $36, which equals $3 a month. And basically that covers our packaging costs, most of our packaging costs. Yeah. So once you become a member, then you get on our email list, and we send out our farmers forecast each week with what we expect to have in our boxes. And we have small, medium, and large size boxes. Minimum order is $20. And I mean, but some folks will get $100 or $150 easily a week. So they're, you know, really relying us to feed get most of their produce from us and food from us. So that's really cool. But once you're a member, then you're on the list, and you can log in and place your order whenever you want to. With our online market, you don't have to get a farm box every week. You order just when you want to get a box. We also have flexible custom ordering options. So for an additional small fee, you kind of get, if you want to make sure that you get 10 orders of strawberries and a package of pork chops, and that's all you want, as long as it's a $20 minimum, you'll get first dibs on the strawberries. It puts you at the front of the line.
I always loved that, because when I did live in Atlanta, and I guess we met first through Field of Greens, right? I think.
Oh, that's right. Yep. I think so.
Long time ago. And but then I started ordering from you, and I would do the small box, and then I would always add, because I wanted my pecans, and or I wanted something out, more blueberries or something else. I loved that, being able to add onto it, versus some of the CSAs, you don't know what you're getting, which is a fun thing too. Because my friend Mary Vargas in Virginia, she and her boys love getting their surprise in them every week. So
yeah. Well, we certainly have variables, but yeah, once we're packing a box for you, the farmer pick, if you get a farmer pick box, the small, medium, or large, you can add on other items without the additional custom fee. So yeah, if you want eggs or meat or dairy, we have wonderful cream top yogurt from one of our dairy producers. We have cheeses, cow's milk cheese, aged cheeses. So we have a lot, and then we do have more and more jams and pickled things, we call it, from one of our local folks in Atlanta. He takes all of our leftover produce, fruits and vegetables, and does amazing things with them. So one of our favorites this year is, every year we have a seasonal mixed fruit jam. It's called Diversity Jam, and the title of it says Diversity Jam. We're all in this together.
Nice.
And it's cool. Every year it's different. So it could be apples, plums, pears, blueberries. It just depends on what we had left over, and he throws it all in there, and it makes a delicious fruit jam spread, and it's something fun. So
that's very cool. All right. So one word you used in there says it was something about throwing you for a loop for the season. So COVID.
Yeah, it was a doozy, that's for sure. Of course, I mean, we've been doing this long enough now, my husband and I. We have a couple of helpers here on the farm, but for the most part, we do almost all of it, which is a real challenge in itself. But we had kind of gotten to the point where we'd settled into a pretty good routine, and we had 75 or 100 farm boxes a week, and then about a dozen chef orders, and then the weekly farmers market, plenty to keep us out of trouble. You know, we didn't have to worry about extra time on our hands, that's for sure. Especially because our farm, we have chickens and ducks for eggs and goats for goat meat, so that's a lot. But yeah, when COVID happened, it really threw us for a loop. Our program operates again year round, and we more or less have an open door policy. So we have our membership open to anybody all the time. You can become a member, and you don't even have to order a box. If you pay the membership fee, you'll get on our mailing list and see what's going on. And we do have a lot of people who just get our mailing list. But otherwise, so COVID happened, and I mean, our phone and email just started blowing up with people who were, you know, very concerned, obviously, about trying to get a good local source of food in case we started having difficulties with our food system and getting produce and other foods into the city, which is a real concern. And it was, especially for the first couple of months, there was a lot of interruptions in the local food system. And that's when you really know how vulnerable our food system in our country is, when we have problems like that. Because when the trucking system goes down, or other of our very centralized food production systems are interrupted, most municipalities, even a large metropolitan area like Atlanta, have about 48 hours worth of fresh food on their grocery store shelves. And there's going to be some, yeah, it's not a lot. So, in really within a week, you know, a lot of grocery stores can be just about depleted of fresh produce and fresh items. And Metro Atlanta, of course, you know, we're pretty much a big hub here for food coming in and out of the country, so we might be a little bit better shape than other areas. But in general, you're going to come up against the wall where if the trucking system and the transportation systems are interrupted, things are not going to move, and people aren't going to get it. So anyway, we were just really hit hard, and we went from 100 boxes a week to like 300 boxes a week within a few weeks. Yeah, and which so that was that was fun. We were up till about midnight every night back in the orders, and you know, right away, you know, everybody kept thinking, oh, this is going to be a couple of weeks. Oh, it'll be maybe a month. You know, everybody remembers how that was. We thought it was going to be for a short period of time. But after a couple of months of that, we really realized that we were going to have to slow up, or we were going to break. So for the first time ever, we had to close our membership, and anybody who hadn't already signed up, yeah, and we're just now getting ready to open up again our membership on our website. So we have a waiting list, and we're going to be contacting those folks first, and of course any of our existing members, if they have family or friends that were waiting to join up, they'll get preferential treatment as far as the new memberships. But that was a real shock for us. I mean, that's not something we've ever seen before, that kind of a demand ramping up so suddenly and so fast. Fortunately, we had enough production. It came in a really good, as far as that goes, a good time of year. We had plenty of farmers producing food, and we had the infrastructure in place with our group and our little small, as it is, distribution system, that we were able to even reach out to other farms that normally had their own outlets, and all of a sudden had a lot of extra stuff. So we were able to provide extra opportunities for other farmers that we don't normally even work with. So we realized the resiliency and the expandability of our program, and it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, Will calls me on the way home sometimes when he's delivering to Atlanta, just to, you know, catch up and do whatever. But he's like, I want to take out my seat in the driver's seat so I can fit more boxes in here because the van is packed.
Yeah, but we have one delivery vehicle, a cargo van, and it was packed full. I mean, we got to the point where we had to shift a couple of the deliveries around because we had too many on one day. Now, you know, we didn't have any chef orders at all. Of course, they dropped right off right when it all happened. So we had a little bit more room in the truck because of that. And just now, really in the last few weeks, our chefs have just just started to reorder again. We had a few restaurants that right away started working with Emory University and some of the hospitals in the Metro Atlanta area, producing food for employees and their families. So we did have a couple of chefs that continued to order what we had, but honestly, I mean, pretty much everything we had was going into the farm boxes to be delivered directly to families in Atlanta.
That's fantastic that, the program was there for them to go ahead and get into. And then I know Steven Satterfield from Miller Union was one of the ones that was working at Emory. Have you seen a change in the memberships orders and the restaurants? Have they flipped, or are you still getting the 300 orders a week?
No, it has slowed down. so we're down to like 200, 175, 200 boxes. But we have a lot of folks who are ordering for their friends and neighbors. So where before they might just get a $20 box and add a dozen eggs, now they're ordering 2 or 3 boxes plus a lot of additional items. So our average order is still about tripled what it was. If our average order before was $30, our average order is $100 now. So people are definitely sourcing more from us than they would have before. And and I know folks are just really trying to not go out as much, and if they can get one delivery from us and get more and support local farmers, they're really doing that. People are really supporting our local folks, which is wonderful. For us, we live in such a rural area. It was no problem for us to stay, pretty much away from everybody. I have to go into our little local town once a week or even once every 10 days to get food for the goats and the chickens and the ducks and the farm dogs. But other than that, I literally have been to Atlanta twice this year since January. It's the only time I've been to the city. Yeah, I've stayed on the farm. And part of that was kind of to limit our exposure. Being self-employed, if something happened and both of us got sick, we would be in big trouble. We don't have, a big infrastructure here right locally to fall back on. We just have a few folks that we work with. So it limits our exposure to COVID and keeps us healthy. We have implemented a lot of safety measures as far as keeping everything super clean and disinfected, and but keeping ourselves healthy and clean and disinfected is a big part of that, because we're handling all this food and we want to make sure that we're not inadvertently exposing people when we don't need to. We have a lot of folks who are older and simply are not going out, have not gone out unless they had to go to the doctor or something. We have some people who pay a little extra, get a home delivery. And we know people who have literally been out of their homes in Atlanta 2 or 3 times, since March. So people are taking it seriously. A lot of our, people we know are taking it very seriously still, and we're not letting up. We're not through it yet. We're still being very careful, and but making sure that we're doing everything we can to get our farmers' food into our eaters.
That's awesome. So how have you said you're allowing other farmers to come into the thing, or you've expanded it, which is great. How are farmers in general doing? And because we've been seeing farmers throwing away produce and retilling it. I mean,
yeah, that's not been us. Of course, our program is primarily comprised of small family farms. I think our largest farm is about 10 acres of production. A lot of us are just operating on just a couple of acres, so we're not we are not the big commodity-based farmers. Those folks were really hit because of the distribution system being down. When your crops, if you're a large, let's say, potato farmer, and your crops are ready to harvest and get shipped out, most don't have huge storage facilities on their property. They rely on the national distribution system for refrigerated trucks to be pulling up the day of or day after they harvest their product and getting it out of there and into grocery store shelves. So when that interruption happened, that was a big reason why there was so much of that glut. And fortunately, a lot of that has really subsided now that people have kind of adjusted, and our system is adjusted and getting back a little bit on track. But none of us were doing that. We were sending every little bitty thing we had out. I mean, sometimes we didn't even have things left over for us to eat here on the farm, as far as, some of the good stuff, like the strawberries and that. We'd send out every single strawberry we had except for the mushed ones. So, we didn't have much left over at all.
Wow. And how have the goats and the goat meat and the chicken eggs and duck eggs selling?
Well, they're always in demand. That's one reason why our own farm production has kind of shifted off of produce. The fruits, we don't do as much fruits and produce as we used to. We do some specialty things still for chefs, but for the most part, our concentration is on chicken and duck egg production. We've got about 150 chickens and
a lot more than I was there.
Yeah. And there's huge demand still always for those. It never lets up. And our goat meat also, we sell our goat meat directly to just regular folks. We sell cuts just as we do with our farmers who have beef and pork production. The one thing we have run into is that small scale processing, which has always been a real challenge, especially here in the South in our area, got jammed up really fast. We've only got a couple of options for small scale meat producer or processing, and everybody who had, say, beef cows in the field were getting calls for people who wanted to fill up their freezers with meat as part of the concern for the food supply. So the processing facilities got booked up so fast. Oh my gosh. Right now, I have to wait about 3 weeks to take my goats in for processing when they're ready. But I've heard from other areas, like down in near Auburn University, where their processing is, they're like 3 months waiting to get their beef processed.
Wow.
The demand for meat, local meat, has really taken off. It's really, that has been a big factor. We don't really have our own program. We don't have a beef producer right now because those farmers are selling their beef directly themselves as much as they can, and they don't even have enough extra for us to be able to offer it. So we've had pork from Riverview Farms, and then our own goat meat. We had a little bit of beef a couple weeks ago from Pecan Point Farm, one of our farmers, but then chicken and poultry. Those farmers are selling everything they've got directly to their customers at farmers market, so they haven't had any extra for us to be able to offer it.
It really just opens your eyes to how our food system is designed, and how fragmented it can be, or fragile it is.
Absolutely. And, that's something we've always been concerned about, even after 9/11. It was very conceivable for us. We could see how easily our food system in this country could be disabled, if somebody really wanted to, because we're so dependent on the trucking industry, to a lesser extent, the railways, but we import a lot of our food too. We import and export a lot of our food, which is kind of crazy. So, we've been working towards, as much as we can in the last 2 decades, building up as much of a local food system as possible. So regionally, around the country, and we've seen a tremendous growth. I mean, the last 2 decades since we started, there are just dozens and dozens of small farmers markets in the Atlanta area and in cities or even smaller towns here in the South. It has really grown. So people are becoming more aware. There's more of a demand, but the fact of the matter is, if people don't buy what local farmers produce, then the farms are not going to survive. We've lost farmers over the years because at one point in time, it just didn't make sense for them to keep on producing. They had to close up and go back to maybe having a more traditional job. So that's while we've seen tremendous growth, there's been hiccups along the way too. One factor that we've had that has been a tremendous growth is our local farmers market in Atlanta, the Freedom Farmers Market at the Carter Center. We started that, I think maybe 7 years ago now, 6 or 7 years ago. And it's grown slowly because we've tried to keep it food. We don't just have a whole bunch of craft vendors. It is a food farmers market. And our amazing market manager, Holly, really took the bull by the horns when COVID happened. We are a year-round farmers market every Saturday, and we did not skip a week when COVID started. Holly right away expanded the footprint of the farmers market. We doubled the size, the area that we take up in the huge parking lot there at the Carter Center. And the Carter Center was closed, so that made a big difference. We were able to spread out more, so we had quite a bit of distance between all of the different vendor tents. We started a one-way entry and exit, so you can't just mill around. You have to come in through the front, so we can check and make sure that everybody is washing their hands at the hand washing station. And we only let a certain number of people in at a time too, so we don't want it to be overcrowded. But she did a tremendous job and really fought for us to be able to continue to sell at the farmers market as important part of our local food system that we are. And it's been very successful. Our customers have been so happy. We require masks. If people try to enter the market without a mask, unfortunately we have to tell them, sorry, but you can't come in. And even though it's outdoors, it's just something that we feel is very, very important, that people are taking this very seriously, and we want to make sure everybody feels comfortable and safe. And so that's the way we've dealt with that. But it's been a wonderful thing that we had the farmers market continuing the whole time.
Now, did you do one of the things that was always great about that farmers market too, is that there was always a chef making food. Did Holly stop that during this?
Yeah, no customer samples at any of the booths. No food is prepared on site. After a couple of months, when people started to adjust, we do have now chefs and caterers who are selling prepared foods. So everything is prepared in a kitchen off-site and packaged, and so it's securely wrapped and closed up, and we don't have food open like that. In fact, like our bakers and a lot of some of our vendors like that have to have things in packaging and not just out in the open. The farmers also restrict the access to their booths, so people can't just come in and rummage around through the tomatoes. You walk up to the booth and tell the farmer what you want, and the farmer chooses the tomatoes and puts them in a bag or puts them in a little area for the customer to put them in their own bag, just to limit as much as we can how much things are being handled by other people. And that's been very, very effective. And everybody at the market, pretty much, I mean, we very rarely have had a problem where people don't respect those rules that we put into place, because everybody, realizes we all have to be careful and we all have to help take care of each other.
That is so true. And that's what you as a farmer are doing, is helping take care of people with fresh food. I found my, the pecan butter. Who makes the pecan butter? Georgia.
Grinders, is it Georgia? Atlanta grind? I can't remember. Sorry.
Yeah. I have to go to a fresh market or Whole Foods or Trader Joe's is 2 hours away. So I found them though in Fresh Market in Greenville, North Carolina. I'm like, oh, this is crack. It's so good.
Yeah.
But I wish
Yeah,
I
we're
could get some pecans from you guys because the pecans are so fresh.
I know. I need to put them in a box and send them to you
Oh.
in the mail. Maybe you'll get them.
My dad might grab them beforehand. Well,
Yeah.
I called you 2 hours ago. I'm like, Laurie, I want to catch up with you and I want to know how things are going. So
Yeah.
thank you. I'm so glad you and Will are doing well.
We are, and I appreciate you letting us talk about what we do, because it's really important. Anybody who isn't already promoting and supporting your local farmers, seek them out. They are out there, and we need eaters to eat our food so we can keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I've been going to the New Bern Farmers Market, and it's in a indoor outdoor building, so every farmer can roll up doors and come in from that way. They've spread out their tables and such, and so it's spread out into the parking lot. We have a lot of crafters at ours and not as many farmers. So I wish I had more farmers, but there's 4 that I shop at pretty regularly. So one happens to be More Farms as well. So I do have my but they're not you and Will. But I know you've got farm chores to do that I interrupted. So I will send you back to do those. And thank you so much for.
Okay. It's good to visit and see everybody.
All right. I'm going to end the broadcast now. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. I've put the links to More Farms and Friends, their website and the Facebook page, as well as the Freedom Farmers Market website. If you're in Atlanta, order directly from More Farms and Friends and go to the farmers market. They would love to see you with a mask on, so physically distanced as well. Yeah,
that's
right. All right. Thanks everybody for joining for Eating in a Meeting. Bye.